Do you ever feel like building a business is just impossibly complicated? Well, today we're going to completely tear that idea apart. We are breaking down a super simple 7-step framework from marketer Alex Cattoni that shows you that a straightforward path isn't just possible, it's actually the most profitable way to build your business.
This quote, this is pretty much the core of everything we're talking about today. It's a total takedown of that hustle culture that screams, more is more. But here's the truth, right? The most successful systems, they're almost always the simplest. Complexity just breaks down. Simplicity, that's built to last.
Okay, so look at this. This slide just perfectly shows the trap that so many of us fall into. When things aren't working, what's our first instinct? And hey, maybe you felt this too. It's to just add more stuff, right? Look at that list on the left. More funnels, more ads, more offers. But all that chaos, it's just a distraction from the one simple mission you see on the right. Get your offer in front of customers who actually want to buy it. Seriously, that's it. That is the whole game. All right, so here is our game plan for today. We've talked about the whole simplicity thing. Now we're going to dig into building your foundation. After that, we'll get into fueling your growth engine, and we'll wrap it all up with the one metric that truly matters. All right, let's dive in. Building your foundation. These first 3 steps, seriously, they're the bedrock of this whole system. If you get these right, I promise you, everything else just gets so much easier.
So step 1. This is the biggest, most common mistake people make. They create a solution before they even understand the problem. You build a product you think is amazing, and then you run around desperately trying to find anyone to buy it. The source for this, Alex, she actually learned this the hard way. She had a business idea to teach people how to stay in hotels for free. Sounds cool, right? But who was it for? What burning problem did it actually solve? Well, it just kind of fizzled. So the key takeaway here is huge. Stop asking, what can I sell? And start asking, what problem can I solve and who am I solving it for?
Okay, so once you've got a problem in mind, your next job is to become an absolute expert on the people who are struggling with it. And that means you got to listen, like really listen. Stop assuming and just start asking. We're talking about digging into Instagram DMs, reading YouTube comments, sending out simple email surveys. And you're not just fishing for business ideas here. Nope. You're hunting for their exact words, what they're afraid of, and what they secretly wish they could achieve.
And bam! This right here shows you the insane power of doing that research. This isn't some made-up number. This is a real result from listening to an audience and then just creating the exact thing they asked for. 80 grand from a single launch to an email list of just 2,300 people. It just goes to show you don't need a huge audience. You just need to deeply, deeply understand the audience you already have.
Now, step 3, this is where we have a major mindset shift. You've probably heard this before. People don't buy drills, they buy holes in the wall. It's so true. You're not selling a course or a service. You are selling a transformation. Think of it like a bridge. You're building the bridge that gets your customer from where they are now, that painful before state, to where they desperately want to be, that amazing after state.
So, how do you actually build that bridge? Well, it comes down to these 4 things. Your offer has to nail the problem, make an exciting promise about the future, show some real proof that it works, and wrap it all up with a price that feels like an absolute no-brainer. You get these 4 parts right, and you've got yourself an offer that's basically irresistible. Okay, foundation is built, solid. Now it's time to fire up the engine. This next part is all about building the systems that actually connect your amazing offer with the people who need it most. Okay, step 4. The funnel. And please, forget those crazy, complicated 47-step funnels with a million upsells. A funnel is simply the journey a customer takes. It's how they go from, who are you? To here, take my money. It's supposed to be a relationship, not a maze. The whole point is clarity and connection, not confusion.
And this is exactly what that simple journey looks like. This super simple 4-step process, it's literally generated millions in revenue. First, you put out free, helpful content. Then you invite people to get a little something extra, a lead magnet, like a free guide or a checklist, something they give their email for. Then you build that relationship with some welcome emails. And only after all that do you actually present your offer. It's simple, it's logical, and man, is it effective.
All right, step 5. In today's world with AI everywhere, trust is everything. It's the ultimate currency. And let's be real. People trust other people way more than they trust some faceless company. So building influence, it's not about being some big influencer. It's just about showing up, being a real, approachable human being. letting people see the person who's actually behind the business.
And guess what? It totally works. Just look at this data. A simple 10-day challenge, just showing up more on Instagram stories, led to a 207% average increase in profile views for the people who did it. 207%. This proves it is not about having super fancy content. It's about being consistent and making a connection. That's how you build a trust that actually leads to sales.
Okay, so you've built the foundation. You've started the engine. Now you need fuel. You need traffic. Eyeballs on your offer. But, and this is a lesson a lot of people learn the hard way, not all traffic is the same. I mean, a viral video that gets millions of views from the wrong people, it's basically worthless. But getting just 100 views from the perfect people, that's priceless. Quality over quantity, every single time.
So you basically got 3 main ways to get that traffic. First, there's organic. This is free, but it takes time and consistent effort. It's how this whole system was built at the start. Then you've got referred traffic, which is when you leverage other people's audiences. And finally, paid traffic, using ads to get faster results. The advice here is super clear. Start simple. Start with organic, see what works, and only then think about putting money behind it to grow faster.
And now we're at the final step. And you could argue this is the most important one of all. The metric that matters. We've built this whole pipeline, but how do we actually know if it's working? Well, this last step, this is the real scoreboard for your business.
Pay close attention to this, because it might be the most important thing you hear today. It is so easy to get obsessed with big revenue numbers, right? But they can hide a really dangerous truth. A business can be making millions in revenue and still be totally broke, on the verge of collapse, because its costs are through the roof. Here's the bottom line. Revenue is a vanity metric. It's what you brag about. Profit, that's what you actually live on. So if not revenue, what should you be tracking? It boils down to these 3 numbers. Number 1, how much is a customer worth to you over time? Number 2, how much does it actually cost you to get a new customer? And number 3, the big one. What is your actual profit margin after you've paid for everything? Look, if you don't know these 3 numbers, you're not really running a business. You're running an expensive hobby. And the moment you start tracking them is the moment you can start improving them. And this is why all of this matters so much. Profit isn't about being greedy. Not at all. Profit is fuel. It's the resource that lets you reinvest, make your product better, hire a team, and reach way more people. It's what lets you build a business that actually lasts and makes the impact you want to make. Think of it like this. Profit is the oxygen your business needs, not just to survive, but to really thrive for years and years. It's what gives you freedom. It's what gives you options. So there you have it, the entire 7-step pipeline, all the way from finding a problem to measuring what really matters, profit. The framework itself is simple, right? But its real power comes from its laser focus. So now the question is for you. As you look at this pipeline, where is your biggest opportunity? Which one of these 7 steps, if you really focused on it right now, would make the biggest possible difference in your business?